Hello everyone. So today let us know about PITH and substance legislative and colourable legislative. Before that, let's know that India follows a federal type of government, which means that it has a separation of power. According to Article 246 and Schedule 7 of Constitution of India, there are three types of list, that is concurrent list, union list and state list. Union list have a subject matter of 100, state list as 61 and concurrent as 52. So these numbers states that only these subject matter they can make law, but there are circumstances such as when there is a national emergency, or when Rajya Sabha passes a resolution, or when a state requests the central to make a law, or implementation of international agreement. So, as told, there are circumstances when a central makes laws on the state list or vice versa. So, how do we determine in this circumstances whether the law made is valid or invalid? So, for this, the court applies doctrine of pith and substance legislative. That means pith means true nature and substance means the most important part. So in this the court tells about the true nature of the act. This can be better explained in a case law, Praful Kumar versus Bank of Commerce. In this case, what happened was West Bengal government had made a law, Bengal Money Lending Act 1946. So in this act, there was a part which governed about promissory note. Now promissory note is in central list and money lending is in state list. So state had made an act which had contained central list. So central challenged in the court. But what happened was the Supreme Court held that this act was valid by applying the principles of doctrine of pith and substance legislative, because it states the true nature of the act should be looked into, and the true nature of the act was only majorly dealing with money lending. Hence, this act was valid. So, you have seen the doctrine of pith and substance legislative majorly deals in nature matter and the subject matter of the act. So, now coming to what is colourable legislative. So, let's understand what is colourable legislative. Colourable legislative, the founding stone is the separation of power. So that indicates that when you have given that power, only then you can do it, otherwise you cannot do it. And it indicates that when anything is prohibited directly, it is also prohibited indirectly. For example, let's take, now if murder is a crime and it is a wrong, it is prohibited, then if there is any law which is made that after 50 years if you do murder it is valid or correct, then it is also wrong. So if it is directly wrong, indirectly also it says that law. So now let's understand by this case law stated as State of Bihar versus Kamleshwar Singh. So what happened in this case law? The court came into 2 points. That is, first is what is the effect of the legislator and the object of the act, and the second thing whether the legislator had the power to make the law. So in this case the act was held as invalid because the state did not have the power to make laws of land reform at 1946. So the act of Bihar Land Reform Act was held invalid. So colourable legislation, the doctrine has nothing to do with the essence of the act, but it has the question of whether the legislator had the power or not. So now when we are looking into the pith and substance legislative versus colourable legislative, pith and substance legislative sees the true nature of the act, whereas colourable legislative sees the power whether the legislator make or not. It doesn't see that what is the true nature of the act. Second thing, pith and substance legislative is flexible in nature, whereas colourable legislative is rigid in nature. So now as you have seen the difference between pith and substance legislative and colourable legislative. So I hope you have understood both the doctrines, and thank you so much.